Think of the people you interact with every day. Would you want to spend a day in a canoe with them? I'm Nathan Mercereau, and as a financial advisor with over 25 years of experience, I've learned that the quality of the people you spend time with is a lot more valuable than what can show up in a set of financial projections. And growing up in Canada, I discovered you can learn a lot about a person when you spend a day in a canoe with them. So I created this show where I interview people I find interesting and inspiring. I invite you to listen in and learn from their stories so you can create the life you want, one filled with wealth, wisdom, meaning, and purpose. I'm delighted today to spend time with Bob Krause, who's a professional golfer and had spent time in the professional golf tour for 9 years and has had a lot of amazing and interesting experiences in life. Working for Trian Solutions. We met at the Rocket Mortgage Golf Classic recently. Bob, you have a fascinating story. You're headed back into professional golf. A lot of life lessons have been learned. So welcome to A Day in a Canoe. I'd like to ask you to just take listeners back to when you started and what was the motivation of getting into golf.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Nathan, for bringing me on here. I'm very humbled, and it's a nice thing for you to bring me on. So I want to say that first of all. My golf journey began when I was 16, which was relatively late for a professional athlete. I picked up the clubs, and I was pretty good at it right away. And within a couple of years, I was averaging 32, which is 4 under par at a high school level, which was pretty darn good. And I was getting looked at by several colleges in state and out of state. And I was the youngest of seven, East Side, and my mom didn't want me leaving the nest. So she said, no, you're not going out to Arizona State or Florida State or wherever you have these opportunities. You're staying home. And so I started, I played a little golf, and I went to school at Macomb for a couple of years. And then I got frustrated because I was so good at golf and I couldn't take it to the next level. So that's kind of how I started. And I actually put the clubs down for about a year, about a season, because I was so frustrated, and then picked them back up and, turned pro. Went and played a lot of mini tours, lived out of my car. I can tell you stories on those. When I first started, I didn't have enough money to eat but one meal a day, like warm meal, and that was a burrito from Taco Bell. so I saved up the money, and I only had enough rent money to stay in my condo, but I didn't have enough money to stay in the hotel. So that I had to live out of my car for 2-3 nights at a time, and actually shower at the clubs. And I would, if there was no shower at the club, I'd have to basically hose off when everyone left. I think I told you when we met at the Rocket Mortgage, I would start with 3 golf balls and hope I didn't lose them all, so that I could fill my bag up with bananas and apples and Nature Valley granola bars and waters. By the time I was done every day, the bag was 25 pounds heavier.
There's a lot of golfers, a lot of recreational golfers, but when you have the commitment like you have to focus on improving your craft, to go with the professional track, you're dealing with a lot of adversity. I mean, what you just shared is incredible in terms of the challenges you had to navigate. During that time, what was your source of energy and motivation? Was it just to get through the day? Was it to say, I want to be the best that I can? I mean, how do you navigate showing up day by day in a pretty intense environment?
You got to have almost a goldfish mentality where you forget, right? So um, I wanted to be the best in the world. I didn't want to be the best I could be. I just wanted to be the best in the world. Unfortunately, I didn't get to that point in my golf career, but it's showed me so many life lessons that I take into my business side of life now. But it's an internal motivation that you have. You get up every day and you want to hit golf balls and you want to chip and putt, and you really know it when you're done. It took me 9 years to figure it out, and I kind of I said, I'm at the other side of this, and I don't want to deliver pizzas the rest of my life, so I got to figure something out to do. But to answer the original question, it's almost like a little inner demon that you have that just continues to push you. And I'm sure you have the same little clock and same little guys telling you what you should and should not do. And that's all. That's what I felt like it was. I'm not sure if you had the same experience, but I felt like even though I missed the cut, even though I didn't make any money that month, I'm going to go do it again. I'm going to prove it to myself and everybody else that this is not a fluke.
A lot of our listeners are executives, entrepreneurs, people in the professional world, people that are trying to create something and build something. And it could be our families, like trying to do the best for what we have and the resources that we're dealt with. And I think it's important that when we get into the trenches of the day to day, to know that we can find our space, find our zone, that it's about winning the day. We don't have to climb a mountain, climb Mount Everest every day. It's about knowing how to do the best that we can within each day. And I know that if you could just take us through, you spent some time on the professional golf tour, just take us through that kind of timeline and then what's evolved since then and what are you thinking about for the future?
So the timeline, really, well, I was 21 years old when I turned professional, and I basically saved up enough money. I saved up like $10,000. I jumped in my Nissan Altima and I went down to Florida. I mean, it sounds pretty basic, but I had that much belief in my ability. I was beating pretty much everyone that I knew around here that I thought was to that caliber, and I said, you know what, Mom, I'm leaving. It wasn't a popular decision, and I went down to Florida and I played the mini tours. Then I went to multiple mini tours, the Hooters, the JC Goosey, web.com, and then I went to Q School, and then I didn't quite make it through Q School. So I had to make a decision. I came in town for the Buick Open and met my wife, Stephanie, and I had to make a decision. Either I was going to go play the Canadian tour, or I was going to, I was 31 at that point. We just got married the year before that, and I decided I needed to switch gears. So I've always been an entrepreneurial mind, and so I actually invented a couple products, took them to market. One was called the Bookshade, the other one was called the Ultimate Cigar Tea. I knew nothing about invention, I knew nothing about that, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna, I'm not scared, right? So I'm not going to be intimidated by my ideas. So I learned to do that, took those to market, and that didn't quite go as I wanted it to go. I pretty much broke even, and then we decided to teach full time. I came back, started a golf academy, and I started networking like crazy, and that's how I. Then I started writing for the Milford Times. Then I went from the Milford Times to the Oakland Press to Fox Two, Fox Two to NBC Channel 4 here locally. Now I'm with Channel 7. So I just, I mean, you probably hear it all the time. You kind of make it, you kind of fake it till you make it. And I just had this drive to want to be the best at whatever I set my mind to, and that brought me to meeting people. I broker three different companies now, and they're not in competing markets. And I use golf as that filter system in a good way.
You mentioned that there's a lot of life lessons that you learned that you now apply to business. What are some of the takeaways as you look back at your journey and some of the ups and downs that you're putting into your golf bag today as you go about your business?
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it. Well, the one was don't take anyone for granted, right? And you never know who knows who, and you never know who can help you, and you never know who you can help. And I've always believed that if I treat everyone the same, whether you're the guy that changes my tire or changes the oil, or you're the vice president of a major company or CEO of General Dynamics, I got to treat everyone the same. And I learned that through adversity on tour, how I was being treated coming up in the ranks, and how I didn't like how that made me feel. To now, I'm going to be so obsessed with treating people fairly and creating a relationship from a good spot. Like you and I are going to create a relationship from a good spot. You and I met at the Rocket Mortgage amongst how many thousand people were there, and all of a sudden you and I gravitated towards each other, and for no other reason but just to say hello. And every time we're walking by, we're waving hello, and we're stopping by and just talking and introducing each other to multiple friends. So if that's all that came out of this you and I meeting, that's a great spot, because that's a lifetime of memories that we can create moving forward.
Well, that's a great example of living in the moment and seizing what's available in the moment. And many times we can plan for the future, we can live in the past, but we miss the moment of the day to day. And when it's with people that are like minded, that there's a sense of energetic connection with, and a sense of wanting to share something together, I think that's what makes the moment most precious. And something that I always encourage our clients to focus on, even though we're financial planners and we're looking ahead down the road, we're navigating a lot of change, always bringing back to what can we do today to make sure that we're making the most of every opportunity. Now, as you look forward, though, beyond the moment, your plan is to head back to Q school and really focus. You're starting another chapter in your journey. Tell me more about that and what motivated that.
I'm fortunate enough to be friends with a guy named Mickey Redmond, who Mickey is the voice of the Red Wings, and he's a Hall of Fame hockey player, and he's like a big brother mentor to me. And we met at a charity event, just giving back to kids, and kind of like how you and I met. It just grew organically. And Mickey's like, you ever think about giving another shot? And I thought, I know how hard it is. I know I'm not quite in the right shape. I know the physical toll it takes on my body, just beating balls and standing, over a golf ball for hours at a time. And then another side of it was I don't want to give up what I have to maybe make it. So Mickey, kind of motivated me to, get back in the gym, lose the weight, get my mind right, and I'm going to go chase the Champions Tour in about another year. I'm going to give it another year, get my body in really good shape. I'm doing yoga. I'm training out at a place in Madison Heights called 2SP Sports Performance, and I've got a good psychologist, Dr. Jason Novetsky in Birmingham, and these guys they're on the team Bob, and I never had that support system before. I youngest of seven and got in my car and left, and my parents and my brothers and sisters didn't even know where I was. What is he doing? Is he out of his mind? He's not working at General Motors, right? So I didn't go the corporate route, so no one understood it. Now I've got this opportunity that was presented to me, and I'm going to grab it by the ears and hold on till it shakes me.
And what are some lessons that you're applying this time? I mean, I think it's so courageous to basically reinvent yourself to go back into a place that's very challenging, very performance oriented, highly competitive. What are you taking into this next step or next stage of your life as you reorient toward that goal, that
Uh,
are learnings or something that's different than when you did it before?
when I did before, I didn't, like I said before, I didn't have any real big support system. I didn't know my wife at that until I was on the really backside of that career. Now I have got a phenomenal relationship with my wife, Stephanie. I've got three great kids that are smart and they're healthy and they're in a good spot. Probably in a better spot mentally, for sure. I'm in a better spot financially. The stability there I have financially alleviates the pressure, right? Because before I'm living in my car, I didn't know if I was going to make my car payment if I missed the cut. Now I don't have to worry about my car payment. I don't have to worry about my mortgage payment. So just that stability that I have now will certainly help alleviate whether or not I miss a putt or not. Because I know, guess what? If I miss this putt and I don't make the cut, or I miss this putt and I get sent home early or whatever, I can still call my son and my daughter or my wife and say, hey, how was your day? And it certainly alleviates a lot of that, that stress that goes along with it. So, I've always been able to reinvent myself. I'm not afraid to reinvent myself at 50 years old. I think a lot of people, as they get older, they're afraid of it. I've never had that fear. And I'm not sure if I was born with that or just I hang out with high level people like yourself. You guys, you people at your level, you're not afraid of certain things that other people are. And I'm not sure if that came through me through friendships and relationships, but I'm grateful I have that.
Now, that's a great characteristic. And I think a lot of people get to certain life stages and they start to settle and they look for more of what's familiar and comfortable. And it's not that that's bad, but many times that can close the door to a lot of life experiences that are just waiting to happen. And if we would get out of the comfort zone, if we would take the risk, if we take that first step, if we make our intentions clear in our vision and share our vision with trusted friends like you were sharing with Mick, sharing the story about Mickey, I think amazing things can happen. What's your family's view of this? Like, what are your kids saying? My dad's like crazy, or I support him, or we're in it, and let's see how, let's see what happens. What's their point of view?
That's part of the reason why I did it. I actually, you and I spoke with Joe Vicari's a good friend of mine, business mentor, um, and just all around great guy. He and I sat down one day and he goes, Bob, this is an opportunity to show your boys that there's no give up. Show your family there's no give up. That was part of my motivation to start this journey. And now they're all over it. They're like, Dad, we're so proud of you. And I was over 300 pounds. You know what I mean? Like I've lost 45 pounds already in the last year. And I wanted to do that to show my family that, hey, look at, I'm not laying down. I'm not waiting for the light to show up in the corner of the room, and all of a sudden the big hand comes out and grabs me. I'm gonna reinvent myself, and we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna show guys that are 50 years old, that, hey, look at, if I can do it, and I'm living in your neighborhood, there's no reason why you can't do it. We have to make the right choices. And I bounce up and down. I'm a larger framed person, and sometimes that weight, it's easier to put on, and my metabolism might not be as aggressive as a lot of guys, but that doesn't mean I should just lay down and take it.
I know that your story is inspiring to a lot of people, myself included. And as you think about what's ahead, what's the legacy that you want to have play out as you think about down the road? You're building something in this journey. What is it that you want your kids to say, you know what, this is my dad and this is what he was about?
I get a little emotional.
Yeah, please. It's important. And I know that's the fire that burns inside of all of us, is to be that shining light and make that light clear.
I just want them to see an example.
Yeah, it's okay.
To never give up. That's what I want them to take away from it.
Bob, on that note, I'm going to say thank you so much for our time. Thank you for taking risk, leading by example, inspiring your children, inspiring your family, and inspiring a community that supports you. I want to wish you all the best, and thanks for spending the day
Thanks a lot.
here. Thank you for listening and tuning in to Day in a Canoe. We're thrilled to have you as part of our community. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review and share it with your friends and loved ones. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on social media platforms by searching Day in a Canoe. We'll see you next time.